Welcome to the deep dive. So, today we want to focus on something absolutely essential for any real estate professional who's looking to really stand out, your brand. And we're talking beyond just, a logo. It's about making that lasting, impactful impression. Because
Mhm.
let's face it, it's a competitive field. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly why this deep dive is going to be so valuable for you listening. Think of it as a shortcut, really, a shortcut to being well informed on something that honestly underpins success in real estate. Understanding these common pitfalls, these mistakes, it's not just about avoiding problems, it's about saving you time, saving you money, and building a stronger, more recognized presence much faster. So our mission here, if you like, is to give you a clear, actionable roadmap, something to really enhance your real estate brand.
And we've got a great source to guide us. It's a really comprehensive list detailing the top 10 branding mistakes real estate professionals make and how to avoid them. Which means practical stuff, immediate insights you can actually apply. So let's jump straight into the first one, the foundational mistake. Here's where it gets really interesting right from the start. Number one is a lack of a clear brand strategy. I mean, a brand without a clear strategic route is basically just drifting, right? What happens when a real estate pro skips this crucial first step?
Well, drift is a good word for it. Without that strategy, your brand just lacks direction. It lacks consistency. And that pretty quickly confuses your audience. People don't know what you stand for. It erodes credibility. And frankly, it means you're missing opportunities. Your message isn't focused. It isn't compelling. So the solution, the fix, is really defining your brand's mission, its vision, its values, and crucially, your unique value proposition, your UVP. What's that distinct benefit only you offer? And you need to think beyond just, I'm a trustworthy realtor. Maybe you specialize in, say, sustainable homes, or you use specific tech like AI for market analysis. That gives you an edge. Then every single branding effort you make has to align with these goals. That's how you get real brand integrity.
Right, that makes perfect sense. Define the core first. So, okay, once you have that strategy nailed down, the next logical step is consistency. Because mistake number two on the list is right there. Inconsistent branding across platforms. What happens when, your website looks one way, but your Instagram feed or your flyers look totally different?
Yeah, that inconsistency, it just kills brand recognition and trust. People won't recognize you, or worse, they won't trust you if you look and feel different everywhere.
Hmm.
To fix it, you absolutely need comprehensive brand guidelines. These need to cover everything. Logo usage, specific color palettes, your fonts, even your tone of voice, the kind of imagery you use. But, the real insight isn't just having the guidelines. It's maybe doing like a quarterly brand consistency audit. Check all your platforms. That includes new social media channels, maybe even AI-generated stuff you're using. Catch those little deviations because consistency really does build that familiarity, and that builds trust.
Okay, an audit, that's practical. Now, number three. This one feels like a common trap. Overcomplicating your logo. It seems tempting, right? To try and cram everything about your business into one little image.
Oh, very tempting. But a complex logo is just inherently difficult to remember, and it's even harder to replicate accurately. Plus, it's not versatile. Think about it. It might look okay on a big sign, but what about a tiny favicon on a website? Or business card? It becomes illegible. So the advice is pretty straightforward. Keep your logo simple, make it memorable, ensure it's scalable, focus on clear shapes, minimal colors, and really aim for a timeless design. Simplicity often just works better. It communicates strength.
Simple, memorable, scalable. Got it. Okay, pitfall number four, and this feels like a big one. Ignoring your target audience. That danger of trying to be generic, trying to appeal to absolutely everyone out there in the market.
Yeah, the appeal to everyone strategy usually ends up appealing to no one specifically. You end up with this bland, generic branding that just doesn't connect. And you totally risk missing the mark with the people who would be your ideal clients. What's fascinating here, I think, is how deeply understanding your audience transforms those generic efforts into really targeted connections. You absolutely have to research and understand who you're talking to, their demographics, sure, but also their psychographics, their pain points, their dreams, their aspirations. Then you tailor your branding, your message, your visuals, everything to resonate specifically with their needs.
Tailoring it specifically.
Right.
Right. And building on that, something else professionals miss, especially now, is how they appear online. Which brings us nicely to mistake number five, neglecting digital branding. I mean, in this day and age, a strong online presence isn't just a nice to have, is it? It feels like a must for real estate pros.
Oh, absolutely a must. A weak online presence, or none at all, can immediately make your brand seem outdated, maybe even untrustworthy. You're simply missing out on this huge audience that is actively looking for real estate help online, right now. The solutions are pretty clear, though. Invest in a professional, user-friendly website, that's table stakes. Maintain active, engaging social media profiles. And crucially, use SEO strategies. You need to boost your online visibility. That means things like optimizing your Google My Business profile for local search, using specific long-tail keywords about neighborhoods, amenities, things your target audience is actually typing into search engines.
SEO is key there too. Okay, so that leads us right into number 6. Failure to differentiate from competitors. If you just blend in with everyone else in what is, let's be honest, a really crowded market, how do people choose you?
Exactly. If you blend in, you're forgettable. It's that simple. You lose any chance to highlight what actually makes you special, what makes you distinct. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, differentiation isn't just, a nice bonus. It's really key to markets' survival and growth. The solution. You've got to identify your unique selling points, your USPs. What do you offer, or what do you do exceptionally well that others don't? Then communicate those clearly, consistently, through all your branding. It's about really owning your unique value.
Owning that value. I like that. All right, next up, number 7. Not investing in professional branding services. This one's understandable, maybe. The temptation to DIY it, especially when you're starting out or watching the budget. What's the real cost there, though?
Well, the temptation is definitely real. DIY might save a bit of cash up front, that's true. But often, maybe usually, it looks unprofessional. And it can completely fail to communicate your brand's core message effectively. So in the long run, you might end up spending way more time and money trying to fix those initial mistakes. Or even worse, having to rebrand completely down the line. The advice here is pretty straightforward, really. Hire experienced branding professionals, people who have the expertise to help you create something cohesive, something compelling right from the start. They understand the nuances that, let's face it, DIY efforts often miss.
So it's an investment, not just an expense.
Precisely. An investment in your foundation.
Okay, mistake number 8. This touches on something really human. A lack of brand storytelling. You hear it all the time. People connect with stories, not just logos or slogans. How does that play out for a real estate brand?
Absolutely. A brand without a story, it often just feels cold, impersonal. It makes it really hard for people to form any kind of emotional bond or even just remember you among the crowd. So to counter this, you need to share your story. Share your brand's journey, why you started, what your mission is, your core values, and especially share client success stories. Think about creating like a mini narrative for each success. What was the client's challenge? How did you specifically help them overcome it? What was the happy outcome? That's what creates emotional connection. It makes your brand relatable, memorable.
Those client stories sound powerful. Real people, real results. All right, nearly there. Number 9, overlooking the importance of reviews and testimonials. We all know social proof is huge for building trust. But how can real estate pros really leverage this effectively?
Yeah, neglecting reviews.
Yeah.
It can seriously undermine your brand's reliability. Potential clients actively look for this stuff. They want third-party validation before they commit. The solution has to be proactive. You need to actively encourage your happy clients to leave reviews. Make it easy for them. And then display those reviews prominently on your website, your social media, your marketing materials, everywhere. So it raises an important question for you listening. Beyond just asking, how are you actively making it simple for clients to share their positive experiences, and how are you showcasing that genuine feedback?
Actively managing that social proof. Good point. And finally, rounding out our top 10, mistake number 10 is not staying updated with branding trends. Branding isn't a set it and forget it thing, is it? It feels like it's always evolving.
Not at all static. Sticking rigidly to outdated branding methods, outdated looks, outdated language, it will inevitably make your business appear behind the times. Slow. You risk losing relevance, losing engagement, especially with an audience that's constantly seeing new things, adapting to new visual styles, new ways of communicating. So the advice is clear. Stay informed. Keep an eye on current branding trends, both inside and outside real estate. And crucially, be willing to refresh your brand when it's necessary. It keeps you looking sharp, appealing, and effective. It's really an ongoing process of evolution, not just a one-time setup.
An ongoing evolution. That's a great way to think about it. So as we wrap up this deep dive then, the big message seems really clear. Branding is so much more than just, a logo or a color scheme. It's the whole package. The complete experience your business offers from that very first click or call right through to the ongoing relationship.
Exactly. And by actively understanding and, more importantly, avoiding these common mistakes we've just walked through, you really set yourself up for success. You position yourself to build a strong, memorable, trustworthy real estate brand, one that doesn't just stand out, but one that genuinely connects with your ideal clients, even in a really crowded market.
Well said. So here's a final thought for you to take away today, something to maybe mull over. Beyond just what your brand looks like, how does your brand actually feel to your audience? What's that experience you're truly creating for them, from that initial online search to sitting at the closing table and even beyond that? Think about that feeling as you continue building your own